Blessings, everyone. Diane Canfield here. I'm a psychic, medium, clairvoyant, which means I psychically tune into people without using any cards or anything else. I am a medium, which means I can tune into people's passed on loved ones. But this is not some of these descriptions that they have, they don't really fit what a psychic or a medium can actually do, or what I can do. I don't know really about other psychic mediums. So I've never heard of other psychic mediums having the experiences that I do. So I see things out of this dimension, as in aliens, spirits, crossed over loved ones, or crossed over people for clients, crossed over pets for clients. So almost every day or every other day, I'm having some type of experience with something happening out of this dimension that I'm seeing. I'm not feeling it, I'm seeing it. Okay, so there's a huge difference in that when you can actually see beyond this dimension. So sometimes I get, I have experiences where there's a message inside the experience that happens to me, and other people cannot see usually what I see. So unless you're a psychic or you're psychically tuned in, you might be able to see out of this dimension, but that depends on how tuned in you are to be able to see what I see. So in other words, there could be a whole crowd of people standing around, and whatever I see or whatever I experience, they're not going to experience or see that. So I do readings, psychic readings, healings, and mediumship readings on my website, which is dianecanfield.com. You can go there, go to the Sessions tab, just tap on that, and you'll see what I offer. All right, so today I want to talk about the Ascension process and what's going on right now. We've had a lot of flares and a lot of geomagnetic storms happen in the past week or so. So I want to, and this has affected everyone because it affects the human consciousness and raises it to a higher level. So I want to go over, I have to put my glasses on here. I want to go over what's been happening. Today we had two minor C-class flares, which these are not a big deal, but when you combine them with everything that's been going on for the past week, they do become a big deal. So also our solar wind is a little high. It's almost up to 500, and that also affects us. And the solar wind raises when the flares come and they bypass the Earth, because we have the Earth has a protective barrier around it, a layer around it. So the flares are headed right toward Earth from the sun, or they can be. And then the protective barrier stops the flares from hitting directly onto the Earth. But they do bypass it, and then that creates a higher solar wind. So we had two small C-class flares today. Yesterday we had 3 M-class flares, which is the higher level than the C, and a mild geomagnetic storms. On Friday, we had 1 M-class flare. On Thursday, we had 4 M-class flares. And then last week on Wednesday, we had 1 M-class. Then Tuesday, we had an X-class, which is the highest flares there is. So many people have been feeling the effects of these flares and these mild storms. And some of the Ascension symptoms that come from these are not being able to sleep well, feeling unwell overall, feeling very tired, really lucid dreams. And also, anybody who's psychically tuned in will have psychic abilities enhanced during this time. So I noticed this, like I'm always psychically tuned in, but as a psychic, we go through periods where we're more tuned in than other times. So it's a little weaker at times and a little stronger. But whenever the flares come in or the geomagnetic storms or anything concerning space weather, I always get a little boost and I feel much more psychically tuned in. So you might notice this also. You might also notice during these times more as a psychic, more spiritual type of activity going on, or activity from other dimensions happening. Seeing little flashes of light. This is common when you're first starting out and your third eye is first opening. You might see little flashes of light. Like, for instance, I just saw a flash of light right over in the corner when I'm talking right now. So little flashes of light, little orbs of light. You know, I have seen an orb as big as a chair. So, and this was a big oversized chair. And this was a maroon orb that was as big as that chair. So there's really no end to what you can see out of this dimension. And since this reality is not set in stone, this reality is fluid, this is how someone like me is able to see things from out of this dimension. So with all of these ascension symptoms happening, many people may have felt really unwell over the last week. And as far as I remember, now we don't get this often, where we have a lot of flares and a lot of geostorms and a lot of things space weather related happening at the same time. We did have something around January 9th, which was like a week ago, where we were getting hit with a lot of storms at the same time then too. But this is kind of rare. It's really kind of a little uncommon to get hit with so many storms at the same time. So in this process of being hit with these flares, the human consciousness is raising. And the human consciousness needs to raise right now because we're on the Ascension timeline. And right now, with the way that things are going on planet Earth, this is required that all humans now raise their consciousness with all the other things that have been happening on the planet. And so this will be required even more and more. And so this is why we're getting all this solar activity to help with raising our consciousness so that we can go beyond the 3D level of thinking and not get tied into 3D and rise above it and be able to maneuver above that level of consciousness, which is what all humans on the planet really need to be doing. I reached this level, you know, my journey started as a child when I was psychically seeing things, but then again, it kicked in the year 2000. So I know it takes time. A lot of people, it's going to take time, but there's no time like the present to get started on raising your consciousness. And I will have more videos about this now. I haven't been doing many videos recently, but I will put more. I plan to put more on in the future, in the quick future. I want to say the future that's soon. So I want to do this. This is one of my goals, to make more videos for people. So again, if you want to get a reading from me or a service from me, a healing or a mediumship reading, you can go to my website, which is dianecanfield.com. I also have a Patreon page. It's Patreon/Diane Canfield, where I talk about more things that are censored, which I cannot talk about on other channels, because I do know what's going on worldwide. I do know everything that's happening, and I have always known what's happening and will continue to know that. So blessings and love to everyone, and I will see you soon.